Hello and welcome to another episode of Backbenchers, where we're covering everything Survivor Canberra in episode 7 specifically. And joining me, Ashley, is a very special guest. We have Zach, and he's been watching along all season, and we finally got him on to tell us about his thoughts. Zach, introduce yourself. Tell us how you're feeling about Survivor Canberra season 4.
What a great season so far. I'm super excited that you guys have been able to snatch me out of the comment section and have me on the pod. I'm loving it. I think it's, every season these Australian LRJs just seem to be able to be raising the bar, showing us something new. And, if you can't play, then why not comment, right? Why not podcast about it?
Exactly. I love to be a backbencher and tell what I would have done if I were actually playing. So I'm happy to have other people be a Monday morning quarterback. It's
For sure.
always so fun. And I know you have a little bit of history playing your backyard survivor alum. We're very, very familiar with backyard here in Canberra. So tell us about what season you played and maybe.
Yeah, I feel like my Canberra connections come from Andrew in season 3. We got to play together on Backyard season 3, but also obviously he played in Canberra. And we've seen people like Mel play in both kind of areas. I guess for me, yeah, I'm wanting to talk from a player perspective. Like I know how hard it is to be in that game. And yeah, if you're interested, you can go and check out Backyard Survivor as well and support all the Australian LRGs. But I won't spoil any of the stuff. But yeah, no, it's super excited to kind of talk about the game.
Well, yes, and we're joining just the first merge boot. Tell us what you thought about pre-merge and everything about the season as a whole. What story are you feeling with this?
Oh, I'm loving the story. I feel like the concern, not the concern, I'm sure for everybody as a viewer is coming in and watching like one tribe versus the other and completely one decimates. And so I feel like this kind of push and pull has been amazing to see in the pre-merge to where you kind of got us to now in this merge where we're really split. We're not seeing that. The players are kind of opening the game up, and as a viewer, that's so exciting to see. I've loved the pre-merge. I've loved, I don't know. Casting's been spectacular. I've loved watching Ben and Jasmine and, a lot of different perspectives, and the returnees have been really exciting to watch as well, and their dynamic on the season. So I think Dan and Liv have nailed it.
And I mean, this episode especially, Bethany. Yes, and we'll get into that of what happens to the Red Tribe. We'll get into that here shortly, but I think it's been a lot of fun. Who right now who is your eyes on the prize? Do you have some top contenders that you're looking at?
Yeah, I know that in their Canberra discussion group, they've just kind of put out the poll on where people are thinking. And for me, it's so hard because we've still got half a game left. People say sometimes that the game really starts at the merge, right? People have so anyone really could win.
Truly.
But my eyes right now, I'm a bit of an Anthea fan. I do really feel like I would want her to win. I think Derek is playing a great game. I think Bree has, she's got some skin in the game here. I really feel like there's multiple contenders for me. What about you? Who are you seeing?
Gosh, it's so hard. I think we've got some really strong contenders on both sides. I guess I'm trying to think. I mean, I think a blue tribe. I've been a very blue strong, but there's some red. I think Aston coming back to the game really is interesting and how that'll throw a loop back into it and see if he's gonna gain some. If he can, I think he has a chance.
Yeah.
I've been strong on Mars as well.
Yes.
Will and Derek, I'd say both as well. So and Anthea and Nat, gosh, almost anyone has a chance,
Almost.
and that's
And
the issue.
even, and we'll get there, but, Mushy in this episode particularly, it's like, I'm here to play, you can't count her out. First win of the
Exactly.
merge. People's perceptions really get shaken up, and now's the time to do it. So I'm excited to see where it all goes.
Bethany, we got there. We got there.
Yeah, I told you. I recognize it and I see it. Can't sleep on anyone. It would be a mistake. We'd be fools if we slept on anyone.
Exactly. Deli, we're excited to have you, and we're gonna have full coverage of the episode. We're gonna have interview here about midway with our voted out contestant, which we'll get to very shortly. But I'm excited. I think the merge episode's always one that kind of sets the tone for the second half
Mhm.
of the season, and this episode left us with a lot of
Yeah.
questions.
So should we dive in?
Yes, let's get to it. So we come back from a very exciting battle back competition,
Mm.
which note for the people watching at home, that was pretty real time cut. Like that's how quick that was going. So watching everyone fall boom, 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 and Aston going all within like less than 5 minutes. So it's a
Mm.
long night, but we get a really exciting Aston come back and we learn he's coming back with some things in his pockets.
Which is kind of crazy to me. And I know people may speculate, they've been together with, with Rose and Haley, but like hearing the way that Rose and Haley went out and their perceptions of Aston versus, seeing cut to Aston the next day, reading these advantages, I was actually quite surprised. Was that something that surprised you, or did you think it was going to go that way?
I thought from Haley in specific that she would give it to someone on blue just because of
Yeah,
how
me too.
anti-red she was,
Mm,
because she comes
mm,
in wearing all blue going, "No, no, no, I'm only blue now. What red? They screwed me over." But
mm.
then, like, to give it to Aston, I get it, the returners, all 3 of them are
Yeah,
returners, that makes sense, but I feel like one of them should have given it to someone just for a little curveball, make it a little spicy, you
it
know?
really makes me wonder about Aston's social game in the time that we didn't see when he's on grasslands. Like, that was a very short amount of time. And is it the connection of like they feel the hurt that Aston would have gone through, or they have this mentality of whoever's going back in, we're going to give it to? Or do you think, of what we didn't see, because we recognize there's a lot we don't see, do you reckon he really could build those bonds with people that quickly to really show, like, because like you said, Haley was leaving, being like, no, not having any time of this. So my mind was like, wow, Aston's done a lot here, or otherwise they really, really want to see a Grasslander go far.
Exactly. I could see it both ways being,
Mm,
like, they're just gonna give it to anyone, but Aston is very charming, very sociable, very likable in that sense, whereas, like,
mm,
oh, they probably felt bad on how he went out with a
yeah,
tie and and his 2 biggest allies supporting him, flipping on him so they didn't go, like, I'm sure they felt pretty sympathetic to that. I mean, I would. I'd be like, "Well,
mm,
dang, you got,
yeah,
you let me try to help you." So, I don't know, part of me wanted them to give it to someone, like, unexpected, just
yeah,
so, like, because I love when there's a little twist in the game where you just don't know how to play with it,
yeah.
and, like,
So if you were Haley or Rose, who are you picking?
I think I'd give it to, like, someone like Nat, like, who is
Mm,
not being perceived as, like, over, like, competitive winning,
mm,
who seems social enough, but, like, hard to say, like, I think just kinda she looks like she's not leading the charge, but she's doing something within that blue side where I'd wanna just
yeah,
give it to her and see what tools she would play with, like, what would you do
yeah,
with that?
mm.
I think it'd be very fun to see something like that, whereas, like, giving it to the returner makes sense.
Yeah, I thought it would go to a different returnee. I thought from both of those people being returnees themselves, it may go to like an Anthea or a Janine or someone they would want to be like, we got. We don't want the returnee, storyline to burn out at the beginning of the merge. So like, how can we kind of disseminate that power? But Aston got it, and that's what we see.
He gets a clue to the idol location, which we see Nat also gets later in this episode. What else does he get? Remind me.
The double vote at the final nine.
Okay, so final 9, that's in a couple.
It's
We're at
two more
top 12
episodes or
here.
two more votes. Yeah.
2 more votes.
Yeah, there
So,
was 11. 11, and we just lost Jordan. So one more vote before he'll be able to use it.
okay.
Correct me
So
if I'm wrong,
that
chat.
it's useful having 2 votes at that vote. So I'm curious if he tells anyone. He didn't in this episode, so I'm
Yeah.
curious on how he'll use that moving forward. Um,
Mm-mm.
yes, next week is a double, so that will be pretty huge for that double, I'm sure.
Mm.
Very true. Um,
Yeah. it was interesting to, well, we see him, I guess, moving on to the next part is he shares it immediately with Mars. Like he comes back and the first thing we see is Aston kind of rebuilding that relationship with Mars. Do you think that was a good move for him?
Well, he says at some point Mars is my number one.
Yeah.
So I think some people like having a person to share their information with. So I guess I
Mm,
can see having that being valid
mm,
on why you'd want to tell someone. So maybe they can help workshop what can I do with this? What should I do with this? And I
mm.
don't hate that if Mars is your number one. And Mars doesn't seem to tell anyone, so seems good for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I think it's a good move to re-solidify that trust, but I wonder, I can't exactly discern what he shared. Did he share both? Because if he shares the idol clue and he knows it's coming up next, I would do that. But would I be sharing the final nine? You know what I mean? Like, could you share one thing but not the other? I feel like Aston's in a good spot to determine what information he shares.
Well, and I think no one knows that the grassland, like Gloom, was giving out more than one
Yeah.
advantage. So, like, be like, oh yeah,
Mm,
this is the only thing I got. Nah, keep that in your pocket. I think having some secrets is definitely good in a
yeah.
game of Survivor because you don't know what variable is going to change. A twist is going to come up, and you might not be on the same tribe as Mars, or
Yeah.
Mars might
Mm,
have to turn on you. Like, I would
mm.
get why you'd you'd want to keep some things close to your chest. So I don't hate that if he doesn't. I think
Yeah.
it's actually pretty smart. So I'm not low on that. I don't remember the edit showing.
No, I don't know what he got told. If people know, let us know.
Yeah, if
Um,
anyone in the chat drop the link, let us know. And
um,
good.
you go.
So I'm just gonna say one of the favorite thing of Survivor Canberra is makes an appearance in the morning here. Croissants. We get croissants.
Right? I've been calling it in my head the Pauline croissant, advantage. I
Exactly.
feel like it's just the croissants are at the start of the season. They were there last season. I feel like it's amazing
They're just
theme that continues to give from Canberra.
they're synonymous with Canberra at this point.
Yeah,
Like I see a croissant, I'm like, I wonder if those are fresh or not. Which I'm
yeah.
told they are. They're very fresh this time, guys.
I
Don't let
really
anyone
wanted.
tell you.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I've heard the even being over in Perth, I've heard the debates. But no, I really feel I wanted Pauline to just kind of like pop out and take the last yeah, emotional support croissant exactly off the table. Like there's one left. Why not her?
I know, and that was so fun. We can jump to that now, where
Sure.
we see them all take one, and Nat just is like, guys, there's one left, but also
Mm,
notices the little extra lump under that croissant.
mm,
Like I feel like we've seen it earlier in the season where I know Derek was like, I'm gonna grab the sodas to see if there's anything in it. I was kind
yes.
of shocked no one was like willingly be like, oh, let me just grab this tray and like
Yeah.
sneak off with
Yeah,
it.
for sure. I feel like you hear that from Brie and Mars, which I'm sure they're kicking themselves over. Like before we get, the cut to Natalie earlier on, they're saying, Mars, I think, says to Brie, we should check, if you ever get the chance to check. Like people know, right? In an LRG, to be able to check those types of things. So, it was exciting to see Nat go for it when she spots it. I guess my question is like, do you do you think that was the right move by Nat? She's in front of Derek, Will, Mushy, and then Jordan, who she's clearly not working with. I want to break this down. This is the most exciting part of the episode to me.
Yeah, I think if Jordan wasn't there,
Mm,
perhaps it might have been, but I feel like she just went so like willy nilly and just grabbed it in front of everyone. I guess she kind of just has to own it at this point.
yeah,
And and I think what she did, I like what she did. She's like, yeah, it's just a clue. It's just for an
yeah,
idol. And she's
yes.
like, doesn't read it out loud there. I'm like, I like it, Nat.
this
I
this
like
whole
it.
scene is chess for me. Like, we have a jump straight and grab it, and then Jordan says, "Well, you may as well open it up. We've all seen it." Genius move by Jordan. That's giving him the power in this spot, right? He's being like, "Well, you may as well." So then she starts unwrapping it, and you can see the panic on Will's face, standing next to him, being like, "What are you doing?" And then Derek's there, like reading it over the shoulder, like an amazing move by Derek. Even though they're in an alliance, he's like, "Well, I'm going to get the piping hot tea. I'm not letting Nat have this to herself, even if we are in an alliance." and then Nat saying, well, some things I'm going to keep to myself, and pushing Jordan back on. Like, I feel like that was an amazing play. And then she also says something like, if you want to share it with your people, you can. And that was the sentence to me that I was like, whoa, Nat, what are you doing? Like, you're dividing. You're saying you're not with Jordan. Like, it was really interesting to watch.
Well, in like looking at it from like a zoomed out thing, I think Natalie
Mm-hmm.
understands that it still feels like very red versus
Yeah,
blue,
for sure.
even before the challenge. So I'm sure she's like, why not give it a little chance? Be like, you can tell your people. I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
you what it says, but you can tell them
Mm-hmm.
I have something, so don't come for
Yes.
me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, and that this is why I want to unpack it, is like, this is the sticking point of the episode for me, because of maybe what, I don't know if it happened or not because I'm not in the cast, but like, why doesn't Jordan tell his partition, or we don't get to see. I'm not saying he didn't, I'm just saying we don't get to see it. And for me, that's what's churning in my mind the whole time, and how the episode plays out, because I'm like, would Aston put together already what's inside the clue? He knows what the clue says because he has one.
Mhm.
Is he like, oh, that's who I got to look out for if I walk into tribal? Like, I feel like these bits of information, could that red partition have worked out to go, actually, you know
Make it
we're
a
going to
counter
have to
alliance, or
we're going to have to kind of target this. And the curiosity for me when we get to speaking with Jordan is like, did that information was that information shared there? Is this something that could have happened? So we'll have to wait for him to make comment on that.
oh, exactly. We'll mark that for the interview to say what was
Mm-hmm.
your thoughts with this all. Also Derek just reading over at Nat's shoulder, also fully knowing what it is. So like there's so many people that
Yeah,
have the information.
yeah.
It's just so curious on them not telling people and then also
Mm.
them not acting on it. It's just
Yeah,
like it's such a small part of the episode, but it's so big. Like you said,
it's
I'm
so
like,
big.
wild.
It's
And
so big.
just a cute
and
little
and even Will validating, when when she's like, oh, maybe I'll keep some to myself, and he's diving across to be like, yeah, no problem, girl, don't even worry about it, to try and push Jordan out, to be like, don't give him anything. I think that's really, really cool too.
it,
But it makes sense for those three, and Mushy, I couldn't tell if she was on the other side of the table or not, to not share that,
mhm.
not want to push that past. I think it really comes down to Jordan and his sharing of the information and what he does with that info. That's key here. But I don't think it was bad for Nat's game. If you were in there with other people, like if it was me, I would have probably tried to be like nudging Will and be like, hey, do you mind? Like, I feel like you and Jordan really need to have a private chat, like try and
Right?
get it
Go
out,
over
or
there.
be like, oh, they're chatting in a conversation over there. I wonder if some of us should go there and try and get people out of the way to grab that clue and open it with some of your closest allies. Because I feel like Nat does a really good job of building some more rapport. And even for Derek, he's saying, oh, this is building up my game. Now I feel like I'm in a stronger spot than Will, where previously in the episode he goes, think Will's top dog, but now I'm in a good spot because I know that I've built this connection with Nat.
Exactly. Well, I think it brings such a dynamic, and we'll jump back to
Yeah,
that.
let's do it.
Let's go back to the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
episode where we just kind of get a lot of people's thoughts after. We get
Yeah.
Jordan talking about how he's worried about Maddie.
Mm.
We have Maddie worrying about how she thinks she's in a bad place and
Yeah.
worried about how Aston feels about her coming back within the game.
Yes. Oh my
Um,
God, Maddie, let it go. Like for me, I'm screaming at the TV, being like, he voted for you, girl. Who cares? Like I feel like she has this kind of way of talking that's like, oh, like, I hope he forgives me. And I'm like, girl, he dogged you. They had a plan to get you out. Don't feel bad about it.
no,
I
it
mean,
was
like,
either
not who
him or
cares,
you.
and don't rebuild the relationship. Obviously, rebuild it, but like, sometimes I feel like players play with that guilt, and clearly Maddie cares about everybody's
Mm.
feelings. It's a strength of hers. But I'm like, screw Aston in your position. Like, you guys were forced against each other. So, but props to both of them, because they're kind of building, or they build some of that trust back this episode
Well, and
to
I
a
think,
degree.
like you were saying, like when it's you versus me, and we have to go to a tie, and we do a tie again, and then we go to almost to
Mm-hmm.
rocks. Like the fact that it just flips because people don't want to go to Rock should be showing
Mm,
to Maddie, yes, Aston, see, I did it and I told you to your face. Like you knew I
yeah.
voted for you. I didn't flip on you on that point. I'm happy
Mm,
to try to work on something now that I have more of a relationship with you than I have with some of these other people I'm just meeting now. Let's
yeah.
value our relationship. Let's move it forward. Let's let these bygones be bygones and I'll
Yeah.
happily work with you.
Mm,
And I think, it's one of those stressful things of being like, how will they perceive me? Well, yes, they can perceive you, but give them something to work with. So I think
mm,
Maddie's got her workout with Aston, but also a few people here in this episode
yeah.
where I think she's just getting a little bit in her head. Um,
Yeah, for
which
sure.
I think that's just Maddie though.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll talk about Maddie a little bit later on in the post scramble as well. But I feel when coming back to what you said about Jordan, he's perceiving Maddie, like in his confessional, to be an influencer, he says. Do you think the tribe sees her that way?
I mean, I guess they think Maddie was helping influence Mushy on that vote where they got Aston out. I guess that's probably where her, Janine, Mushy, all deciding to do that flip and to
Yeah.
go on Aston. That's probably
Mm,
where that comes back to in my eyes is they're like,
mm,
oh, she got the movement on the grounds. She was probably the most vocal about it to
yeah.
get them that three to go. Yes, Mayhem Maddie, we do love
Yeah.
her. We do. But I
I
think
think
good.
I wonder. I just wonder about it because I don't perceive her to have the power. Like, yes, she built the social connection with Mushy, and she got Janine to stick with her for that vote. But to kind of for yeah, I don't know. I think it was an interesting read. I feel like she says what she wants, right? She's kind of like, give me a name. Where are we going? And if you consider that influential, then sure. But I also feel like it could also damage
Mhm.
people obviously play this game trying not to throw out names because they don't want it to get back to them. Where Maddie is kind of steaming through for better or for worse, and sometimes it's working for her.
I mean, somehow Maddie has been chaotic the last however many votes where she's like, my name's the name, your name's the name, your name's the name, but she still hasn't got voted out. Since episode one, day
I
dot, she's
know.
been worried and somehow it's working for her. So
Yeah, it's
maybe
probably
there's
the past
something.
trauma, right?
Yeah.
Being
Oh,
a returnee, coming back, and like for me, watching her season, I she was like one of the devastations for me in the pre-merge, being like, oh, damn, I really feel like she could have gone for a deep run. I really saw this girl kind of doing the rallying. And I wonder if it's just like, you have people say you have an advantage coming back as a returnee a little bit because you know the way it structures. But for all of these guys, like our returnees now, they've never navigated this part of the game. It's
exactly.
completely different. And I feel like hopefully the stigma around them will drop and you just see them as any other player because I feel like it feels like to me that Maddie doesn't know what she's doing at this point. She's like, oh my God, this is new. If I don't build the bonds now, it could be solidified because something solidifies in a pre-merge tribe and you're out. So I feel like she's perceiving the merge the same way as you would perceive like a starting tribe where literally you say, oh, I'm a lawyer, bang, you're out because of what people could see in the final three, or oh, I don't really know what I want to do with the money at the end, bang, you're out because people go, oh, they don't have a good enough reason. Where I think the merge is so much more complex. So I really want to see how she's yeah, exactly. So I wonder about the insight that Maddie sometimes brings to that.
And I feel like my brain is Maddie at this merge point is taking the pasta in the water, not straining it. You throw the pasta at the wall. She's just taking the
Right.
whole pot and throwing it at the wall and hoping for the best.
and
Like,
and sometimes you've got to, like, I don't know, but does she need to? That's my thoughts. I'm kind of like, I don't think she was in, and clearly not at the end of this vote, isn't as a bad spot as she thought she was in. It's
exactly.
the paranoia that can rub off on people that I worry about for her.
Looking at like the zoomed out again, like
Mm,
in a world, red original has the numbers.
mm.
Or no.
Yeah,
Yes.
six
Yes.
to five. Yep.
6 to 5.
So
My brain gets confused at the end of it because it doesn't
yeah,
go that way.
yeah,
In a zoomed out world, she should feel fine if they're gonna go on color strong, like original tribe strong.
yes.
But I
But
mean,
as Janine says in the next confessional part, or later as well, Janine knows, and I think Maddie knows. They both have insight that they're the 5 and 6 of that core four. They're calling it the Buru, like core four, and I think that's what. being a returnee can bring back is like Janine's reading it right,
Mm.
so I can see why Maddie would be stressed because she's seen where Aston and Brie and Jordan did put their votes when well, she couldn't be voted for. So I don't know. I get it. I get it.
I do, and I think Janine is having such good, like, intuition where she's like, "I don't think this is gonna suit me. I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go where I want and vote how I want." So, seeing that she's like, "Yes, I'm in the red, we have majority, but, like, am I in with the red? I
Yeah.
don't think so." So I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
it's really interesting. Whereas we
It's
get,
a
like, Mars, who's like, I have blue ties, I have red ties, I can go where
mm,
the hell I want." But he says, "I'm leaning red right now." That's so interesting to me.
yeah. I see him like he's pulling for Will in this episode, right? He doesn't want to lose Will. He
Yeah.
sees that as his tie. Um, and I think that's a good read by Mars. I think what people seem to be clocking Mars in every episode is somehow they're seeing it. Like that it's set up Adele to be targeted right before Derek's gone. Oh, that's great. Like, yeah, don't let's vote for the other person. And then Adele's gone because that's his closest person. And I felt like that's really what put the spotlight on Will, which was amazing play by Aston and Brie, and that to be like, oh, great, you think your best tie is with Will? And then later in the episode, they're like, let's cut him because that brings Mars back to us. That brings us back to the core four without Mars knowing. So people are clearly seeing that Mars has ties, which is good for Mars, but also like sometimes bad for Mars.
You need to have some invisible ties, not the ties that are, like, in
Yeah.
bright pink and, like, showing to
Yeah.
everyone, like, that's
So
the
hard in an
issue,
LRG.
and
Mm,
and I think, like, I like what Mars is attempting to do in theory,
yeah.
it's just somehow he's getting clocked left and right if he's saying too much to the
Gotta
wrong
love it.
people. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
I mean, he's saying it to the right people and he's still getting clocks. Like he's telling his core alliance what he could do. I think they're just seeing Mars as a threat. He's clearly an intelligent person. He's an intelligent player. And I don't think they want him getting too much steam because he could take it.
oh, he probably yeah, I mean, I get that. I love a good strategic, like, player, so they're like, "You're
Mm.
taking a spot that I wanna be in."
Yeah,
Like, "No, that
for
because I
sure.
need to be there. I need to be good with everyone, so you
Yeah.
need to start losing that." Like, no, it's 100%.
The
Um,
irony for me as well in what we see with that Mars kind of clips is then we kind of shift over to Aston a bit, and he's saying the same thing. And I think um, he's played a really good move here in kind of using the fact that he was voted out to be like, oh, I'm not really with the Reds. I'm open to working with anybody. Like I feel like he's leveraged some of the not the pity, but the empathy from other players to go, okay, maybe Aston's more malleable than we thought because of how, like, because he was obviously sent to the grasslands. So he talks about it a lot. We don't get to see it as much because clearly his heart's still with maybe his core four in this episode. But I do think it left him with a lot more options to maneuver, and he wasn't closed off to that, which I think makes this really interesting for him.
yeah, and I was noticing about how, he was excited, like, to be on jury because how sad he was when he's like, "I
Yeah,
missed out on it." So, like,
yeah.
I think he's gonna bring that, like, energy. He's like, "Now I'm in it. I'm here. I got
It's
what I
like
wanted.
it
I'm
was
ready
like,
to play."
ooh. And then it's like slowly come back up, because even at the start of the day, he was like, oh, I've had to switch my mindset again. Like he was in protection, that kind of protection mode that you get when you're voted out. So I think he's found his steam again by the end of the episode.
And I think a nice night of sleep, maybe a few refreshers in the night,
Yeah.
like, might help
Um,
make that mind shift.
okay. I know it's jumping to the very start of the challenge, but Derek said he slept, and then everyone was like, hmm. And I was like, what do you mean you slept? I can't sleep. Like if I was to stay overnight, I feel like my brain would just be spinning. So props to any of the cast that slept overnight. Whether you were voted out of the game before that time or after, I'm sure a nice night of sleep, right?
Like, I need the players who are in the comments, like, give me your number
Yeah.
of
How
hours of sleep.
much?
3 to 7, 3 to 5, 1 to 2, like,
Yeah. 20
I don't
minutes.
because I think they get done filming that night challenge at 10 or 11 at night, and
Yeah.
I'd have to presume, um, I have to assume that they start at 6 or 7 o'clock at night just to keep the pay, or 6 or 7 in the morning, so I'd
Yeah,
have to assume,
yeah, for sure.
um, let's see, after hearing people talking outside and freaking out they were gaming, they
Yeah,
were not.
good. I like
I
to
mean,
hear that we don't see anything off camera, that they shut that down, you know?
5
Okay,
hours, I
that's
reckon.
decent, Will. Yeah, I like, you know.
So people get some sleep, but to Bethany's point, is sleeping good, or is, like, that taking time from your brain to, like, process
Yeah,
time? I don't
yeah.
know,
Overthinking
the
can damage your game, right?
and
So, you know,
and at least we know there was no game talk, it's more so how are you
yeah,
processing time? That's it,
yeah,
that's fun, but I love the outside of, like, how do you sleep? How is this? How's the hunger? Like, that side of the game, such a fun thing to, like, read into.
not hungry if you have croissants, right?
I mean, we're having croissants every day, what do you mean?
Eating
We are
good.
eating good in the neighborhood, like,
Yeah.
hello? Oh
Um,
gosh.
Anthea felt like at the start of the episode, she said 90% of the way the game was being played was tribe strong. I feel like the cast really dismantles that over the cross the morning, right? And
100%.
although we see that there, I'm, you know, like what I really liked was two people I'd never seen together really, which was Bree and Anthea having a conversation, and they're saying, "Oh, maybe we can work together." And even Bree's affirming, like, I don't want to work tribe strong. That's boring to me. That's boring to this game." And I really like that about this cast is that we heard so much validation from a couple of them that they know that that's not the best way for any of them to really get to the end. I mean, it would work for one or two people, but it's yeah,
I love that they say that, but then in this episode have yet to walk that walk, those 2.
yes,
But maybe
yes,
later, maybe.
maybe
They
later,
they
but I like
entertained the idea.
yes, and I like that. I mean, there's nothing worse than walking up to someone and trying to even have a strat chat, and you can see that they're just like completely not willing to kind of take that. So
Exactly.
even the fake strat chats, I think I love because it really does open people's mind, and slowly people can wear you down, and you go, oh, okay, it could work for them.
Well, and I think, like, just being intentional with speaking with people you haven't spoke with yet might
Yeah,
be the part where they wanna vote for you or not, like, be like, "Oh, they made the time to at least attempt it."
yeah,
They're a little higher on my list than someone who's like, "Meh, meh, red
yeah,
versus blue,
eh,
meh, meh,
yeah,
meh, leave it," or, like,
yeah,
it's one of those where I'm like, I don't know. So I respect that they're like, "Let's do it. Let's play the game how it's
yeah.
meant to play," which is mixing it up. We're at merge. We're all purple. We're all emu in whatever in emu,
Mirawa,
which is Miuera.
yeah,
I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's tell me if
yeah,
I'm wrong.
mm,
But I mean, we're all purple here in this merged tribe,
mm,
so I think it's interesting, and I'm really excited to see that switch up happen for some
yeah.
people, which we do. A few people do decide to flip around, so
Mm.
we'll talk on that here shortly. Um,
So Maddie feels Will is the biggest threat.
yeah,
In her confessional, she's saying Will is the one that I want to get out at the start of this episode. And then we see them immediately have a conversation, and he's like, "I had a good conversation with her, but like that, the vibes. I don't know if they were there or they were not." And Maddie's like, "In and she's out, and she's in and she's out." Um, you know, do you feel like there is capacity? They obviously work together. Um,
how do you say it?
emu
I don't know what I'm
emu.
saying wrong, Dan. You'll have to fill me in. No, I think Maddie listing Will as being a threat, but then you get like the side perspective of Will being like, "Nar, I want to work with Maddie. Like Maddie's like a number I can bring in. She seems to be at the
Yeah.
bottom."
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's kind
I
of an
mean,
interesting dynamic.
for sure. I mean, like I worry if this will hurt Will's game in the long term. He seems to be the this episode's like, oh, Will's the threat, and we'll get him later as like a decoy kind of threat name. Like, but sometimes those things stick. So I'm hoping for Will's sake that he can kind of somehow shut this further down, or the bonds he's made this episode will kind of reduce him to not being the casual name that's thrown out because it sticks. People will think about it in the later game if he gets there.
Well,
Um,
like, how do you think Will can lower that I guess quote unquote threat level at this point? Like, is he doing too much if he's getting his name thrown off by half the cast as being
Right. I
a key
don't think
threat?
so. It's just the snowball. Like I actually don't think he's doing too much at all. He's playing a great strategic game. He's playing a great social game. And I think again because these castmates are smart. They're all quite intelligent people. People are clocking people's skills pretty quickly. And I think he's just become the unfortunate first target of that. But I do feel like um, there's other players to push up. I think that the concern is that sometimes they're using the language, or he sometimes I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, use some of the language like, oh, we're some of the threats, we've got to not stick together, but we've got to. I think he was talking to Aston like, look out for each other, or
Mhm.
those types of things, and I'm like, oh, don't. I feel like I don't want you to do that. Like as
Yeah.
me as a watcher, I'm like, oh, I feel like that could set you up in a poor position, but it might
Puts you in
not.
the target line more so rather
Yeah.
than yeah. No, I feel that
But
where it's like painting your bullseye just a little bigger by that statement.
but at the same time, he's built so many new connections this episode. He was in the majority vote. He's clearly working with some of those people, so their minds could already be shifting by the next episode come around.
Exactly. And we
But
hear it
Maddie,
in this episode, like people
yeah.
advocating.
But at the same time, like in that same conversation, Maddie says like, "Watch out for Mushy," and was like, "What are you talking about? Like, she's not sneaky. She's been pretty. She's like the most straightforward clean cut of them all in terms of what she's doing. So
I
maybe he can use the fact that Maddie's throwing all these things around. It's not really true. Will kind of diminish that for him.
Yeah, to help like take the bluff off. Also, this scene is like one of my favorites of the episode. I think I rewatched it 2 or 3 times where Will just like
Yeah,
looks at the camera after Maddie walks off and is just like happening.
processing.
He's like,
Yeah,
I just went through like a storm of things and I just don't know what to process. I
he
think
should
they're
have taken it and ran with it. Hashtag mayhem mushy. If it's mayhem Maddie, make mayhem mushy come back. Anyone
well,
with an M, watch out.
it's funny because like Will was at 2/3 of that tribal like see or whatever the part of the tribal. So he's like, but she wasn't doing anything until I gave
Yeah,
her the idol. What do you mean? What do you
yeah,
mean she was being a chaos?
yeah.
Hello?
Literally. Yeah, I forget. I think it's. Oh no, it's later. We'll get to that. But yeah, Jordan and Will have that conversation about squashing their beef and if they could work together.
So
Um,
what was their beef? What exactly did you perceive their beef
this
being?
Well, this is what I was talking about before. It wasn't Aston he was talking with. Yeah. He wasn't talking about with Aston. He was talking about Jordan saying, oh, we're both threats because we could catch a
Hmm.
ball in the dark last night. We're challenge based. Let's look after each other. That's the conversation I was worried about. I don't really think they had beef. They were clearly just competitive people at the challenge. Like,
They were both throwing elbows and like getting
yeah,
bruises and scrapping
yeah.
down apparently in that challenge. Who knew?
But I think Will says it. He's like, I'm worried that we're going to be seen as these challenge beasts, and one of us is going to be taken out early merge. Cut to someone's torch being stuffed. Yep.
Yeah.
So Will's read was right. I mean, he's glad it's not him in terms of he's clearly protected himself through the episode, but his read was correct. So
Right.
even just catching a ball at night, or for Will's sake, he ran in the running challenge. He's clearly a runner.
With people who are
Watch out,
tall and
can't
can catch
run.
balls and people who run and can run fast,
How dare
if
they?
that's your threat, my God, I wish. I wish I
Yeah.
had either of those issues.
How dare you like running and come
How,
onto this show
how
and
dare
run?
you just be genetically tall? Gosh
Yeah.
darn.
Yeah, exactly. But I
No,
don't think there's much beef there. I just thought it was interesting because that's the conversation that comes to that's the prophecy coming to fruition at the end of the episode.
exactly. A little foreshadowing, if you will, of like,
Yeah.
is it gonna be like a Jordan versus Will this way? If like, oh,
Mm.
who's gonna come out ahead in this challenge beastie thing? Like, who will
Well, we've got
say?
our answer.
Exactly. And we get Derek saying that Will's probably the most well-rounded
Yes.
person for a target, and he might be top of the pecking order if it comes to having to vote someone in blue.
Right? And there we go. Like it's put out there. Like he knows it. But I feel like Derek knows it because he's probably, my perception is that that's Derek's socially Derek's biggest competition in that Blue Alliance.
100%.
I feel, and obviously Derek's here, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but my read was that I was like, oh, he knows Will's really good at this game. He knows Will is making social connections. Will's clearly got Mars. He's clearly talking to Maddie. I wonder if for him, that's why Derek's seeing him as more of that threat, because he also has the challenge-based status. And Derek also at one point in time had the challenge-based status, which was funny.
Derek's like, for why? I haven't won
Yeah, for
anything. What do
why?
you
But take it. Why
mean?
not?
And one thing I know about Derek, I've known Derek for quite amount of time. He clocks people T super. He's like watching and listening, and he's like, I heard you say this. I'm not going to tell you I heard you say this, but it's in my notepad, my little blue book, and be like, remember at 12:52 a.m. on Monday when you said this? Actually, you're wrong. Like he's there to clock the tea, so I think you're very
Mm,
correct in that saying like he's in a place that I want to be and I can't have him there. So like I'm watching you. I'll be
mm.
watching.
But then he gets there with what we talked about with Nat and her. Like he's saying, okay, now I feel like because I've drawn in Nat further, I'm at the top of this pecking order. So I wonder if Will's not as threatening to him if he does feel like his ties are now closer, maybe with Anthea or with Mushy.
I would
he's
never.
he's going to remember that at
Oh,
what is it, eight
he'll
twelve
he'll he'll
p.m.
be adding it to his list of
Yeah,
things on
on
me.
his phones. Yeah, exactly.
He's got it. I know he does.
And
No,
then we see Mushy down the line again. She's like, "Nah, Red's got to go." So she's still pretty clear cut, and I can get it from her perspective, being on the Red side for such a long time, and not having any of that. Um, okay, great. In any of that kind of back and forward with the Red when she was on that tribe, almost like segregated socially, I can see why she would want to be like, nah, I'm with Blue and I'm going to make that known because Red probably knows where, or the Red Four kind of really know where they stand with Mushy.
mhm. And I agree. I think like it makes sense for Mushy to go back to Blue because she actively had Will giving her the idol, the necklace. Like she sees everyone so happy for her to come back. I know Derek's excited to like go back and have this conversation they were starting
Yeah.
with beginning earlier in the season where they wanted to work together. So I know she knows she has people and like it makes sense for her to want to flip and red because they've been saying her
Yeah.
name
Mm,
every single chance they can.
mm-hmm.
Like to the point where they're gonna vote her out before she had the idol. Like
She's
it,
like,
it makes sense.
I love a seasoned cockroach, like someone who just kind of can somehow get their way through. And Mushy, but I was like, oh, poor Mushy, she's going in the first two episodes, and then like like Bethany said earlier, don't count her out. She is
Mhm.
getting her way through, and then and obviously for me, I'm arriving at the challenge now. I don't know where you're at, but
Well, I'm
um,
arriving right there as well.
okay, and then it's like, and then we see her, and she takes off, and she's like, kind of sticks it to him without having to. Like it's just like, don't count me out.
Oh, the challenge is the perfect like epitome of Mushy's game. Like everyone is there doing, and then all of a sudden she just comes and says, "I'm here. I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So,
Don't count me
sorry,
out."
sorry, over here, please. At the end,
Exactly.
come
Remember
check
who has
this.
the crown, as Eden would say.
And she does. And for me, I wonder. Yeah, another new challenge beast has entered. A hot
Write
new
her name
bombshell enters
down.
the village as a challenge beast.
Ooh.
I I wonder. I wonder what it looks like in an alternate reality where she doesn't win this. Like, do you think Mushy was actually in danger here?
I don't think that anyone on low key on blue I don't think blue would push her. I think they have bigger fish to fry in the sense of like
Mm,
trying to get someone a merge boot. I don't think Mushy's the merge boot person. They can get if they really want to get rid of her, all the red will jump with them. So I think
yeah.
they have any time that I think they could go.
Mm.
Um
But I do think she would be an easy option. I think she's
oh,
been, like I said, it's the names that kind of stick in LRGs because of the short time. It was like, well, she's the easy vote, even for original blue, right? And so I
mm,
feel like that could have really come through and kind of been like, oh, she at least would have been a decoy name. I mean, Bree's just
100%.
shut me down, which is fair. If that wasn't at risk, that's good for Mushy. But I do feel like it could have been used as a floating name to be like, when people walk around and they want to hide the real vote, they would have been like, oh, it's Mushy, it's good for everyone, right? Like, or,
I think that's probably
do you
fair
know what I mean?
actually. Yeah, you
Mm.
saying that, I think that's a good chance of being like, Mushy, you're gonna hear your name, but just like you're used to it at this
Yeah.
point. Keep doing what you've been doing. Like
Maybe, like Bree said, if she wasn't at risk, I do feel like it would have at least been potentially a decoy. Um,
100%. But I mean, if she doesn't win, the three people that are like, I think the contenders in the challenge before Mushy comes and just eats it up is Derek, Anthea, and Mars. Like those are the
yeah.
three who are consistently like in the edit at least showing. Um,
Mm.
let's see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so
I feel
point
like
point
that's right.
taken.
It's a decoy, whether or not it comes to fruition. And I worry for her that that will stick. Um, and it either will stick so long that it will be good for her because it's kind of like everyone knows that she's not the real name, or she could just catch strays when people want to get her out. Um,
Absolutely, and I think. it makes sense, I guess, for, like, Maddie to, like, throw that to Will just because she doesn't trust Will,
Yeah.
um, in the sense what she says earlier, so, like, maybe she'll say that name just to see what Will does with that and, like, where
Yeah.
he
Like
takes it,
sounding
so
out. Hmm.
exactly. Okay.
I've
Any Good.
Well, I just want to say on the challenge, I love it in itself. Like I think it was clearly really difficult to roll even that ball down the center. I feel like it was harder than landing the ball sometimes, and I just really enjoyed watching something new. Like I hadn't seen something like that before for me. So and that's something you can see as an audience member and be like, I want that. I want to try that. Like let me play
Mhm.
that game.
Let me be dream
And
team, please.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Or they're like, I could do that, and then you come to do it and you cannot. Um, but I do really feel like that was a challenge that was anyone's game, and I really love that for people because there can be more physical ones or more mental ones, but that feels like a real equalizer. So I was glad to see that emerge.
Yeah, and I think one of the parts for the challenge that I thought was hard and interesting is you had to hold it if your 3rd marble dropped, you had to hold your
I
2
know.
that you had in and try to go grab that 3rd one, and I think that's where I'd lose all the marbles,
Yeah, a lot
it
of yeah, a lot of ball jokes this season. A lot of dropping in balls.
in, like,
Um,
if they didn't do at least 7 of them, I would have been disappointed in Dan and Liv, and they ate it up, all the balls separating and having a hard time holding on to their balls, and,
yeah.
like, all of them are so good, so props to Dan and Liv for doing their ball research before getting out
Ball
there.
research, yeah. The last thing I want to say on the challenge is I think as a
Okay.
player, I like to read. Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
Um,
still hard, though, you had to place it, so, like, even then, like, making sure.
hmm, is that is reading what people's reactions are to people who win. And usually when Mushy lands it, like Janine's up, Aston gives her a hug. When it cuts to the group, when she's walking back, most people are really happy for Mushy. And that also gives insight to maybe what Brie was saying earlier in the sense that she probably wasn't at real risk of going home because people were kind of relieved, which also makes me feel like Mushy's in actually an okay somewhat position being probably in the middle. People know her. She has worked with she's met kind of everyone, right? That's um that's on the cast. Mm.
Ball aficionados, yes, give that on a t-shirt for sure. Well, any other thing else on the challenge? If not, we're
No,
gonna
I'm good.
actually jump ahead a little because I think we'll get some of our questions answered and thoughts on this challenge, a challenge, post challenge, pre tribe, by
Mm.
bringing in our first member of the jury, the mayor of the jury, the one, the only Jordan.
Hey peeps.
I
Hello.
also can't cope. What is going on? What is happening? Why are you the first member of our jury? Tell us. We're so excited with so many questions, but what comes
Ah,
Mm.
first?
I'm the first member because apparently I win one challenge for the team and I'm the challenge beast and
Challenge
I get
base.
voted out
That's what we were
randomly
just
out of
saying.
nowhere.
How rude of you being tall. I
I
could
know.
never, simply.
I had literally not even played any physical challenges that whole game or even won any until then. And then the one time I saved my tribe and it's like, see ya.
I know you do a good thing and you are not rewarded for it. How
I
rude.
know. So rude.
We're
I
good to
really loved watching you play this season because you really played with your heart on your sleeve. I felt like yeah, I feel like you not to say you're an emotional player, but you played with a lot of heart. Like things seemed really real for you. Is that what was happening, or is that just my read?
No, I did. I should have probably thought about things more, but I just went with how I felt and with showing my trust to people and
Yeah,
my loyalty. So I guess through that, it got me voted out because I wasn't smart enough to think clearly about things. I was more going with my emotions. So
Well, I
I
don't even
mean,
think it's that though. Like this
yeah,
vote just seems like everyone was an option. Like it
yeah,
didn't feel like your name even became feasible until less than 3 minutes before going to tribal. It felt like
Mhm.
there was not much you could have, I feel like, done because no one knew from your side or perspective to clue you in. So it was really hard to even like counteract it though, if you didn't
Yeah. I
know.
mean, like I hadn't heard my name at all. There was one part that that wasn't shown, and Janine came up to me and she's like, "Have you heard my name? I'm really stressed." I'm like, "I honestly have not heard your name. I'm looking you in the eye and telling you." And she said, "Okay, cool, I believe you." And I'm like, "And have you heard mine?" And she's like, "No." Had she at that point? Because
It's
by that point, everyone was voting me out. So
I
yeah,
feel like I don't know, like that the Anthea conversation of being like, what about Jordan? I don't know what time it comes in this
Yeah.
scramble. For
mm,
me, it feels like from how Will at least talks about it, it came pretty quickly. So I don't know
mm,
how much time if Janine was in that conversation at that point. So
yeah.
I need like the timeline, I need edits, I need the receipts, I need everything to like get you a line.
Yeah, I mean, even like a conversation with Will, like when we're talking about challenge beasts, he at one point said, "I want to align with you," and I'm like, "But I'm not a challenge beast," and they can
Yeah.
show that bit. But also in my head, I was thinking, "No, because I'm being loyal to my tribe, and we had brought his name up to vote him out, so I'm not going to align with him now." Had I been smart enough, and that's probably my one regret after the game finished, was I should have just aligned with him and gone that way, and maybe I wouldn't have been voted out at the time.
Mm.
But
Well,
yeah.
and I
Or
think
fake aligned with him and voted
Yeah,
out anyway.
exactly. But my
Yeah.
heart, my head was going, no, you've been loyal to your tribe. We've already said
Yeah.
his name. I'm not going to go against him now. I like going against them.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, stupid me.
well, yeah, let's jump
But
back. Go on. No, go
I
ahead.
was
Go.
going to say, but you've built those bonds. Like I feel like you're criticizing yourself for like you made a tight alliance. Like they were loyal to you. It shows up in this. It's not like they turned on you. Your
Yeah,
emotions and playing with your heart and being loyal to them did buy you that loyalty in the vote, at least.
yeah, exactly. And that's all. Yeah, and Diane just said then, like I was probably too honest. And that's the thing. Like I tried to play the game without lying. So if I could
Mm.
avoid lying, I would. So I'd either change subject or go around about in an answer.
Yeah.
Hence why, like when I said to Will, like I don't think I'm a challenge beast. I'm like, I don't want to tell you that I'm about to try and vote you out.
Mm.
But I was also telling the truth. I didn't think I was, like, just because I had won one challenge.
Mm.
Yeah. So
So you should have been friends with me at this point. I would have said lying for fun is good. Do it.
I know.
We've taught you the ways of lying since then for fun. That's what I'd say. But no, I get it. Like sometimes it's easier just to be like upfront and honest and be like, no,
Mm,
like this is good or not bring it up. I do see that. Like that does make sense to me
mm.
for trying to just like keep your sense because sometimes it's hard like when you're lying out there to be like what did I say to this person, who did I say to
Yeah.
that, why did I
Exactly.
say it to them this way, like if you're just being honest you know what you have, so I get it.
Yeah. But also that's why, like when Nat had that scroll, and I'm like, okay, well you may as well tell us. But then I also kept that to myself because I'm like, well, I'm going to be loyal to her and show that she can trust me. I'm not going to tell anyone.
Mm.
So, and it's funny watching all this back now because in hindsight, I could have done so many different things. But like at the time, I played with how
Yeah.
I was feeling, and
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure. And I'm sure everybody, myself included, after they play a game, you run all the scenarios in your head over and over again. You're in the shower and you're thinking about it and like, what could I have done differently? But you've got to go with what you did in the moment.
yeah.
Do you feel like, if you could travel back in time, you said you'd have that conversation with Will. What about that advantage? Do you think you would share that Nat got it with other people?
Yeah, I think I probably would have. I probably could have gone to my tribe, but at the time we were all scrambling and talking to each other, and there were some people that didn't even talk to me at all. Like I
Yeah.
tried to talk to Nat at the time, obviously, but I never got a one-on-one with her. I never talked to Anthea at all. And then Maddie didn't really have a chat with me. She was just there in conversations when we brought up everyone else's name. So like really I only had my alliance to sort of chat with at the time other than Will. So because I don't think I even talked to Derek solo. That was more in a group setting as well. So yeah, it was kind of hard to sort of talk to anyone and try
I
and
feel
save
like
myself, even if I did know.
in this strategy talk felt like it wasn't one-on-ones, it was a lot of 3-4 people chats, so
Yeah.
it was probably hard to get those people to get like a good solid do I trust what you're saying chat, because in a group I feel like I'm always just kind of like yeah sure kind of going with like the thought process, but if I was one-on-one I'd be like nah forget what they said, this is what I actually think, so it's like hard to like truly trust what everyone is thinking and saying if that's true in that group thought.
Yeah. It's true.
Let's see. We've got some
You
questions
got some
rolling in.
fans.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
Coming
Let's
through with some
Oh,
comments.
really?
let's hit
Yeah,
them up.
yeah.
Let's go with this question. What were you most proud of in your game?
Probably being me, and obviously, you could see how much I was crying. I think I cried a lot more than I showed, but I just being me and being loyal to my tribe and just trying to win for my team all the time. Like that's why I was so like eager to win that last challenge that night, because we'd just been to so many tribals and I'm just like, I need to do this. Like I care about people so much and I'm always there for everyone, and I just wanted to be there for my tribe. And so I think I'm most proud of just being there for my tribe regardless of what was going on. So
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
I think that's, like, huge, like, you need to have a good morale boost, and, like, if you're with people you wanna, like, boost up, that'll always help you in the game, so I think that's a very
yeah,
valid point.
because
I
like
think
in real
that
life I'm competitive and stuff too, but in the game I don't know, I just felt I was competitive, but I also, I don't know, there was something about the game that I just felt like I wanted to play so loyal, so honest. Whereas I could have just been like Ash, you know, when we play bloody blood on the cocktail, like I'm so competitive and I am aggressive. I didn't play it that way, but I think that's sort of the other side of me that people don't see as well. So
I think
Exactly.
the authenticity is what drew me to you as a character. Like, your vulnerability and your authenticity makes you different in this cast because you do care about people, and the morals that people do have to navigate in these games is so tricky. And I feel like you embodied that for me when watching, to be like, oh, this person has these really strong, authentic morals, and they're really battling with this in the game. And I think that's, yeah, I don't know. I think that was something to be proud of as well. So I'm
no,
glad you see
thank you,
that in yourself.
thank you, I
Yeah,
appreciate that a lot.
and I know Bree says, "Have fun while playing," because I think at the end of the day, like, we're playing for $200 and a good time, like, that's
Yeah,
that's the key, so I'm happy that you got to be authentic to yourself, like, be the person you wanted to play as, so that's
yeah.
huge.
And I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, as you know, I'm competitive, and that's why when I was voted out, yeah, I was shocked, but at the same time, like, well, that's the game. Like, I didn't get upset, and I was really actually
Yeah.
surprised at myself that I wasn't upset. And whereas
Mm.
normally I'd be like, "Fuck this," blah blah blah, what the hell, and tell everyone off. But I think just in the game, I did just enjoy it, and that's how it
Yeah.
played out. Like, what can you do?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And that's
yeah,
admirable in itself, right? You set the, I don't see, yeah, I have no idea about what happens in the game, but like that sets the tone for the jury, right? You don't want a bit of jury. If you're coming out and being like, this is what, I just wanted to play the game where people are playing the game, and let's just enjoy it. Even the jury experience, right? You got to be
yeah,
there. You even said in your last words, like, I can't believe I made it. That's a big goal.
yeah, exactly. And the jury actually was so fun. Like when you see future episodes, it was a riot. So yeah, I'm glad I
Great.
actually got to sit in there and make it to that spot where I can still see the game play out. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bree has a comment. Yeah.
What's your strategy moving forward if I don't know, let's say you
Maddie.
guys get Maddie out?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, good question. I don't know. My strategy was just to get Maddie out. Let's be real.
Mm.
Just based on everything that happened during the day. I guess I would have still stuck to my alliance. Like Brie was my ride or die, which I wish they, I wish there was more interaction between me and her
Mm.
shown throughout that. Obviously, there's lots of editing that needs to be done, but yeah, I would have stuck with my core four and just sort of seen where it took us. And maybe maybe I could have gone back to Will and sort of maybe aligned with him and maybe brought him into our group, which meant it would have been
Mm.
a good six. So
Mm.
really
And then
my aim was just to get Maddie out, but obviously she got me first, so I didn't really have a strategy after that.
mm,
My main goal was just to get her out. So
well, and I
Yeah.
think like if you get past that point too, like you might have those conversations with Anthea, with Derek, with the people you didn't get that time, and you might be able to like be like, here's my opening. Like that would have definitely been like a place where you had to play it round by round at that point, I guess.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hadn't met any of them either, so I wasn't even
Mm.
aiming for any of those, except for the fact that we were going for Derek or Will,
Mm.
because my tribe said, let's go for them. I'm like, okay, I'll do with my tribe's going with, because that's what I'll do. I'm being loyal. So
Mm.
because I hadn't played with any of them, like they wouldn't have been on my radar. As you know, I voted for Maddie. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
Did you? Oh, yeah.
Derek's saying that for your sake, it's the part after where you're having up to tribal. That's where your name goes. So again, these tribes chat time are so quick where it just changed on a fly. It sounds like so. It's so
Yeah.
hard to plan for to try to be defensive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why A, it was a shock, and B, like it's how it happened. So what can you do?
Exactly.
Because it could have been
So
any of us, really. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's the hard pill to swallow, but also an easy one, right? It's kind of like, yeah, it could have been anyone with 10 more minutes. Yes, it could have changed, but maybe it stays the same. Like you never know when the
Yeah.
pendulum's going to swing.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about taking I mean probably not because your name wasn't out there, but was the temptation, the what's it called? The block, go grab the block and do the puzzle, what's it
Ah,
called?
the
Oh,
what is
desperation
it called?
station.
There it
Desperation
is.
Station. Yeah.
Was that ever a thought
You
in
know
your
what?
head?
I kept totally forgetting it was there. I didn't even think about it because I also didn't even think that I would be a threat to anyone. That's my point. Like even seeing the
Yeah.
challenge, like I wasn't like I was trying, but it was so hard that I'm just going to give up and start singing and had a good time. Little did I know that in half an hour's time I'd be voted out because I didn't feel like I needed to take it because I didn't feel like I was
Yeah.
a target.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. What was your favorite part about playing them? Like the entire experience, like thinking about the day and a bit you got. What were you really grateful to be a part of, or what was your favorite move or vote or challenge?
I mean, I was grateful just to be there in the first place, to be honest. When I found out, I'd actually totally forgot I'd auditioned. And then I got this message saying, you made it. I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God, so excited. So I think just being there, getting to play something that, was apparently a huge thing before I even knew about it, before I even auditioned. I didn't even know about this community. And so, yeah, just getting to play something fun like that, because I love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then just meeting all the people and just enjoying the day. Like I was actually, as I said earlier, like I was really surprised at how much I was enjoying it rather than stressing about it. It was just a really good experience. It was probably one of the best experiences that I've had in a while. And it came off the back of a really shit first half of the year. So it was just really good to be able to get out there and just, just be me and just enjoy something and relax and meet some new people. So
And you're doing it for you, right? Like when you're there, you've got to be in it. So you really are just doing it for you.
Yeah, exactly. I just was hoping to not make it like get out first, and I didn't do that. I was really actually surprised how far I actually went. So, and then to still be there till the end anyway was even the icing on the cakes. Yeah, I wasn't playing, but I was still there till the end. So
yeah.
And we do need to know about outfit number one. How do we land on the red plaid and the short shorts?
Well, they're my like when I go to walking shorts. I just love those shorts. And then it was actually funny because that night I was so stressed. I'm like, I don't have anything red. I've got nothing. So I even went to Big W and I found a woman's top. I'm like, this is all too much because I'd literally planned myself in advance. Like I booked in to go to the Star buffet so I could have a big meal with the night before.
Yeah.
And then I had a big McDonald's breakfast the next morning, but I hadn't had a shirt, and I'm like, far out. So I went to Big W like just before they closed on the Friday night, and then when I got home, I'm like, hang on a minute, I've got a cowboy shirt in my cupboard. So I'm like, that's perfect, and off we went. And it turned out to be a talked about outfit through the season. So
and the mustache.
Oh my God,
we love it.
So that was also because I was doing Movember at the time, right? And I'd done it for 3 years already. And my friend said to me, I don't believe you do it every year. I feel like you just use the same photos that you put up. She goes, next year, I want you to do the motorbike, the handles. I'm like, okay, I'll do that to prove to you I do it every year. Just so happened that that's what we were filming in November. I'm like, now I'm going to have these ugly motorbike handlebar moustache in the season.
Cemented in history and video.
Yeah. And now there it is. Yeah.
So your friend, you have it.
When Eden it eventually makes some type of Survivor Canberra quiz, but just by people's like outfits, you've got to be in there. You know, one of those quizzes where it's just like identifiable by those people by just their clothes. Yeah, that's out there for me.
That's funny. And to answer Deli's question too, I just saw that before. Sorry, it's funny because I was going to apply for season 3 because Sophie is actually a good friend of my cousin's. And Sophie knows how competitive I am because we actually played board games together one time, and that's when I first met Sophie. And so she said to me, Survivor season 3 is coming out. I know how competitive you are. You should audition. I was like, what is this bloody thing they're all on about? So then I went to audition, but then I missed out because I missed the deadline. So as soon as season 4 popped up, I'm like, I've got to audition. So I literally saw it pop up and I went and put my audition in straight away. But prior to that, after the game, season 4, Aston came to me and he's like, do you remember this? And he sent me a screenshot of when he tried to get me to apply for season 2 via Star Now, which is the acting website that I'm on for gigs and stuff. So it's so funny. So it was inevitable I had to be here at some point, but yeah.
I think you
we're
fit
glad
so
that
well
you made
season
it.
4. I'm so
Thank
happy.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Is there any other thoughts that you haven't hit on or anything that you think the world needs to know?
I don't know. That's a tough question. Do you mean about Survivor or me in general? Because we could be here on
Oh, that might be a separate podcast.
Yeah. You might do a few episodes of that one. No, I think, there's some good players out there. So just, be ready for the next few episodes because it's going to be chaos. If you think it's already been chaos now, just be ready for the next few because it gets worse, guys. And there are more twists and turns, and I couldn't even cope with the twists we had. Like, I think there was about 20 in a bloody space of a day, and I just, I loved them, but at the same time, I hated them. Like, it got me adrenaline, but I was like, I can't cope with this anymore.
Can't cope indeed. Well, I know you'll be commenting. We'll be seeing you on the jury. You get to be the mayor, and the mayor is honestly so fun because you get to set the tone. You get to like hear everyone's thoughts coming out of the game. So I'm so excited to see like you analyze that with everyone and see who you decide to be the winner of season 4 of Canberra.
Yeah, I mean, being in Ponderosa was such a good time. That was so fun in there. And then seeing the next person come in and join me was really fun and exciting. And it was like, oh God, I wonder how that all turned out. So I'm excited to see now the other half because I know how I know they arrived to me in Ponderosa on the jury, but I don't know how. So I can't wait to see how that all played out and how they, started joining me in there. So
you and me both. I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season goes. Obviously, we're sad to see you leave here, but we had so much fun watching you catch all of the balls in that challenge and be crying in the Homer and the Simpsons and everything. We were loving it.
I was so like after that challenge, because what had happened was in that challenge too, let's talk about that quickly if I've got time. I had actually caught the ball before that. And then they're like, it's out of bounds. So I was like cursing. I threw the ball. I was so upset because I'm like, God, we just won. So that's why when you actually see the footage where I did win, I'm just standing there holding the ball like, have I actually won? Because I was like, is it real this time? And so then when they're like, yes, I'm like, and then I just break down. They didn't show that either because obviously it was too dark. But I literally just broke down in tears. A, because we'd won, and B, just all the adrenaline and the finals challenge of the night. I was just like, this is so happening. Like, I can't believe I just caught this finally and saved our tribe. Oh, Eden's got a little. What was your favorite twist and why?
Whatever one Eden made.
Probably Eden. Probably, and I think I said this at the at my voting too. When we saw Will, when we got to tribal, I'm like, Will sitting there. I'm like, this is weird. Why is Will? I'm just like, hi, Will. Didn't think anything of it until Dan's like, well, guess what? I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding? I was so stressed, but I thought this is so cool at the same time. Like, what a little twist. But yeah, I think that was probably my favorite twist, especially because we were like right in and part of it too. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, we are sad that you're still not there, but we are excited to see your journey continue. Yes, happy Mother's Day, belated to moms out there. Still Mother's Day in my heart here because I haven't slept. So yes.
Nice.
Oh yes,
but we will be seeing you on the jury, which I'm excited to see. Maybe if you bring us another iconic outfit, we'll just have to wait until next week.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Jordan. We will be watching you on the jury. Thanks for joining us and answering all of our lovely questions.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, righty. We will jump right back in to where we were. We're at. Let's see. We talked about a lot there.
Now.
Yeah. Scramble after that challenge. We have. We find out Desperation Station is in play until Final 6. That's one thing that like I bookmarked. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
So we've got a couple more rounds of it. So people who haven't used it can
will stay the same, but up until Final 6, it seems, which is good to know.
Absolutely.
And we start off with like Maddie running over to Natalie, and she's like, heard my name. And Nat's like, girl, we haven't even had time to chat yet. This is the first conversation. What are you talking about?
Maddie's probably like, oh no, my name's out there to herself, and that's how she goes, oh, my name's out there.
Yeah, it's in her head. She's
She like
I'm the
whispered it to
threat.
herself.
Yeah. She's like, shit.
That's how I imagine that conversation going. So
do you think this paranoia is rubbing people the wrong way?
yes. 100%. I think we see it pretty clearly when they're like, why is Maddie saying this? Like, no one's said her name this round. Like what's going on? Like why is she going two balls to the wall so soon? I think we do see that pretty clearly here in this scramble.
I was trying to envision a way where the panic could like be good for her game, like in terms of like whether it means that she's someone to kind of pick up and use as an option all the time because she is so malleable, because she's so paranoid. But I do think it's swinging more to the latter, like you said. You know, but I wonder, like I've been thinking, like, do you think there's someone on the cast that can kind of like it doesn't seem to matter what people are saying to Maddie, she's not placated. Like they'll be like, you know, even when she's like, I know it's me, and Aston and people are like, it's not girl, it's not you. And then Anthea and Will, and like it's a theme. So I'm like, is there someone who you think actually could help Maddie to, you know, put Mayhem Maddie just back in the box a little bit to release later on when she needs to?
I think my brain, I jumped to Anthea right away, being like someone who's like the complete opposite of Maddie's style, where Anthea's not going to say anything she doesn't fully like suss out in her head, think of all the possibilities. So I think they almost need a chat of being like, Maddie, your name's not out there. It is now that you said it. It's not out there from us. Like you weren't the possibility, but since you're causing this chaos.
Yeah, it was probably like Derek said, it's probably mushy. You can put that comment up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know,
she's probably the only one that's not coming for her.
Exactly. She's like, you're my girl. Like I got you. Like I think,
and we do see that conversation with Anthea and Maddie, but Anthea doesn't tell her that it's an issue. Anthea just plays into it. You know, it's the insight finally that you see from Maddie that says, I think I've gone too hard. Like she's standing by that tray being like, do you think I've gone too fast? I need to take a break. And Anthea's like, no, girl, you know, it's all good. Like you're not doing that. Where I was like, maybe, like you said, that was if Anthea wanted to, in that she could have had to say, yeah, kind of, but it's okay. I've got your back. Like we've got to ride this out together. And suddenly Maddie's locked in. She's probably back up and heightened again, but at least she's heightened with you and channeling, right, someone's actually told me the truth here, because she's looking for it. She's like searching for when someone goes, yes, your name has been out there, whether or not it has been, which I think is really interesting. It feels like the only time she can trust someone is when they actually tell her name is out there. That's what I feel like is happening for Maddie, because it's just so embedded in her brain that she's being talked about regardless of whether she is or not.
Well, and I think she's also looking for confirmation, almost like a confirmation bias of being like, oh, so my name is out there. Okay, thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and
so that's the cast member who thinks I could calm her down, is when they tell her, yes, it's actually you.
Which, who does that? I don't know. Who?
Don't know. Could be anyone.
I'm not telling someone their name's out there if their name's out there.
I reckon Nat would do it. I think Nat's such a sharpshooter.
She surely is.
Like she doesn't really care. I feel like she doesn't perceive the extra threats of telling people that. So she'd be like, yeah, you're fine. I got your back.
Exactly. Or even mushy. I've heard it. Yeah, it's fine. No, it's good though. Like I think it's interesting. Also, like another like point of Maddie and Anthea's first connection from season 3. Like this is the first time talking this game. I thought that was interesting. Like,
oh yeah,
kind of forgot there for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, they played together.
Question mark. I don't know. I can't remember if they were in the same tribe or not.
Yeah,
Fill us in chat.
Exactly. So like that might have been something where if Anthea wanted to like maybe like, hey, bring her in, but I think Anthea likes the chaos of Maddie being like a shield.
For sure. I think it was probably in Anthea's best interest to vote with her ultimately, but not tie her too close.
Oh yes, of course. How could we forget? Sorry. That was a test for you guys, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we talk about, Mushy being safe, and she's gonna find this not Mushy's gonna find this a regrouping round for her where I
Yeah.
need to see where my loyalties stand.
Mm.
And I think she gets kind of like having that necklace around her, she can go and have those
Yeah.
conversations.
I think she becomes a bit of a non-factor for the vote here. Like, although she's safe, like she kind of is more like it seems like she's listening and observing, and then she just swings the way she needs to swing in that. Um,
Which I think
which props to her.
she
Yeah,
needs that
exactly.
after all of the rounds of her name always being an option. So I think this is this is something huge for her just to kind of have a minute to like breathe,
Yeah.
like truly.
So Aston then shares with Maddie and Janine about the idol, the clue to the idol, sorry, to like to build that rapport to kind of get them back on side. And we hear him talk about wanting to shoot for Will. Because of that perceived interaction with and the relationship with Mars. We've kind of debriefed the Mars part of it.
Mhm.
Do you think these are the right people for him to share that information with?
I think he wants to do it to like not mend the bridge, but like, I'm obviously fine.
Yeah,
You guys voted me out, and I'm just going to tell you to share this
yeah,
information to try to maybe bring them back in, maybe to be like,
yeah,
no hard feelings. Here's this information is power. Here's the power I can give to you. And like,
yeah,
see, I value you. This is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think it's a good move for him. Like, I think he's going the power of the six. Let's keep Red strong, whether or not he agrees with it, and obviously, ultimately votes against Maddie. But the perception is what he needs in that to kind of keep that. Like Aston's climbing back to the top of the ladder of that kind of alliance at this point in time, being like, if I can solidify this, it's what we originally had. Um, it's whether or not it seems like Janine clocks it. Like I said, she kind of knows where she stands in the alliance, and that's where I
Exactly.
ultimately feel like it crumbles. But I do think it's a good way of sharing it with them. The only way it could go wrong is if he shares some details about it too intimately. I wondered if Maddie could go and get that idol because she is the type of player and person who would be freaking out heading into that tribal and would have run to get that idol.
Oh, I think so. She would have like pushed some people over. Like she would have had that sugar rush that Will had a few episodes,
Yeah,
but like snappily, and like
yeah,
did it like 100%. So I mean, probably good on him for being like, "Here's I have something.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I'll give you." Um, I find it interesting. Aston's the one that's putting out names though to this group, being like,
Mm,
because I know a few episodes he's like, I don't want people to perceive me as driving the bus, but here he's like, you know what, guys, I want either Will or Derek out here. I think like he
mm,
pitches that, which I thought was
yeah,
interesting. But the
yeah,
group is like, nah, not Will, nah, not feeling it.
mm,
Which is such like a red flag to me. Like when you have like three people
yeah,
being like, nar, not
yeah.
Will. I'm like,
And he clocks that, like, and that's why he's like, I want Will, because of Mars's connection there. And then you see the Mars and Bree duo then start spreading Maddie's name. They go not rogue, but they're like, you know what? Actually, we're not going to do that. Let's just kind of cut. Um, oh, there you go, spicy. That would
oh.
have been spicy.
That would have put
Um,
more of a target on her. I see what
yeah,
you're
but she would have
doing.
played it. There's no way she holds on that idol.
No, that changes everything.
Mm,
Well, I mean, no, but yes, but maybe I don't know. Could be because if they think Maddie has it, they maybe switch it up or becomes a live
yeah,
tribal.
we'll
Weird,
get there later.
weird
We
effects.
can pipe up the
Yeah,
size
yeah,
later. Um, but yeah, Brie and Mars are kind of sharing that Maddie stuff. Really using that. Mars hears the one line which is gold to him of Maddie being like, "She'll do anything." She said she'll do anything. That means she's a flipper. And then there you see Brie and Mars kind of like weaving their web and kind of pushing for people. Do you think that's ultimately good? I mean, we see the result, but good or bad for Mars and Brie's game here?
I mean, I think they're accurately calling what's happening. Like
Yeah.
Maddie is happily going to where the power's at, and
Mm,
going to like say whatever she needs to do and say to become safe. So
mm,
they are clocking it, and like maybe she's too frantic. Maybe
yeah.
it is the right merge boot to get rid of
Yeah.
this kind of chaos.
Yeah. And it's offering a red. Like, that's more than the Blues, if we're perceiving tribe dynamics, that's more than they've done. It's been like, here on a silver platter, we'll even the numbers with you. This is a peace offering. We'll just get rid of Maddie.
Exactly.
Mm.
They're like, what tribal lines will vote out red? Whereas, like, we
Yeah.
know she's 6 of 6 and has been 6 of 6 since the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah. And I feel like, Yeah, I just feel like it actually could have swung the other way. Like there is definitely a world in which Mars and Bree's relationships end up swinging back, and a section of people vote out Maddie.
Absolutely. And I think it's interesting to kind of see what sides are growing of why people want to vote for someone versus why they don't want to vote for someone. Whereas, like, we're
Yeah,
seeing people want to vote for Maddie, but when people are pushing Will, like, people are saying, yeah, he is a good target. I see what you're saying, but I'm not doing that. I think he's a
because
good
he's got the
shield.
social connections. Like Will's
Yeah,
doing well. He's building those bonds to stop them from pushing that way. Um, and and I guess that's what like Jordan was talking in the interview. He had really deep connections with some of his original tribe mates, but maybe didn't have those little tiny ones that Will had managed to kind of weave in, um, to stop that when that name comes up. They go, oh, there's a potential for me to work with him. Um,
and
mm,
that's one of the key importance, I think, of using every minute in the game as effectively as you can, and I think that shows what Will did there for Jordan. Like, Jordan becomes like, "Yeah, I'm good with him. I'd like to keep working with him. I don't
mm.
see him as an issue." So, I mean, for future players, like, use every minute, every second, every opportunity, any social, even if it doesn't feel like anything, it could be everything to someone. So,
And that's what happened with the tie vote with Maddie. Like she went to Mushy and it was just a conversation, but it was enough for Mushy to go, well, only one person had a conversation with me, so I'm staying strong to this person. So it really shows how the importance of those tiny conversations. Hey,
exactly. When people say Survivor isn't that much of a social game, I say bullshit. It's everything.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like that's truly. Let's see. We got Bree giving some insight.
Yeah, makes so much sense. And like it opens up the game. I think what's like what Bree's saying here is there was so much excitement from some of these people to play, and even what Aston says in his next comment is kind of like those. People don't want tribal lines sometimes. You want to have the full survivor experience. And if people stick to that rigidity so much, sometimes it feels like you can be losing the game as like a super fan or as someone who really wants to strategize. It's like playing chess with a 4-year-old. You don't really want to do that. You want to play chess against someone who can move
Exactly.
back and forward with you, and breaking that down. I can see why it would be such a big thing for people, and why they'd want to do that. And we're grateful for it as the audience.
Like, I understand wanting to have fun, but like a boring game sometimes is boring. But like, if it's an easy win, I get why you'd want to do it. But I
Yeah,
do
for sure.
appreciate them like
I just
playing.
appreciate the cast for being open to it, for seeing
Exactly.
the opportunities. Um, but I can see why it would be a detriment if it's too much.
Too much. Yeah.
Um,
So it's like it's hard to weigh those within the probably what half
mm,
hour they get from like
yeah,
community to go into tribal. Like, that's a lot
yeah,
to, like, break down your thought process of, like, is me turning on red good, or is there more pros than cons, and
yeah,
how do I set myself up? So I understand, like, the turmoil they're all going
yeah.
through.
And so we cut to then Janine, who wants Red to stick together, which is crazy because she just said 10 minutes ago, I feel like, no, not 10 minutes ago, but earlier in the episode, like she knows that she's on the bottom of the six, or at least the fifth in the six. So I did wonder here, like, do you think Jordan, she ultimately, it seems like, votes against Jordan. Do you think, this was a jump for her to try and get out of that? Like, she must have had a switch in mind, some point in
I
the episode.
I think so. I think my thought process with Janine flipping is she probably felt more collaborative within this blue group of being like, we think this will help us. Whereas like in red,
Yeah,
it's more of like, vote this way. Like, why not? Sure. Whereas Janine's like, I actually have a thought and a process and I get to pick what I want to do. And this is
yeah.
what I'm gonna do. Like, I feel like one thing Janine is gonna do is do what she wants.
Yeah.
So I feel like
And she's been voting pretty much correctly all the time. Like watching Janine, like she gets what she wants, like which is ends
without
up
having
passing
to
its
put
energy.
too much out. Like, that's the key. I think, like, Janine's not doing too much. She's not riding the bus. She is just, like, sitting passenger princess, like, eating the
Mm,
chips, putting the music on and
yeah.
going, maybe it's your turn right here. Okay, good. Sounds good. Thanks.
Mm.
Right. You know?
I do wonder if that's what the four could have, like the core four could have done with Janine and Maddie, to be like, over to you, like because they need their votes to stay six strong. Like be like, Janine, who do you want out? And because she wants who she wants out, I wonder if that's a way that they could have kind of solidified her to stay in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that could be part of why, again, Janine also, like, thinking maybe I am 5 and 6 or 6 and
Yeah.
6. They're like, maybe I can try to break down this over here. You
Yeah.
are under the radar.
But
It's
you're getting it done, and I love it.
under the radar, but we don't you're not purple. Like you're doing things. We're noticing you. So
It was a
the
good move
radar's
for
enough.
Janine, is what I think ultimately lands here. Like, despite her feeling initially in the episode that she wants to stay red, the fact that her insight and perception could switch over to kind of put her in a good spot with the majority of people, including Maddie. And,
Mhm.
if outsiders includes Aston, or the perception that Aston's in that group, that could also be good. If it's just Mars, Jordan, and Brie that were being perceived to be the power players.
Also, I think Janine has a really good confessional about everyone wanting she wants to take out Will, but everyone wants to work with him and everyone feels good with him and
Yeah.
is either working and or in alliance with him. She's like, What are we doing? What's going on?" Like everyone is wanting
She
to
can
keep him. Like what Red, you're gonna be wrong.
I feel like she's able to zoom out. She can see that Blue is actually willing to work with people, but never willing to put a blue person on the chopping block.
Hmm.
And that's the red flags, I think, for her to say, I need to stick with my faction initially, and things must have changed in the scramble before we see the ultimate vote come to conclusion. But I always enjoy listening to Janine's reads, because I'm like, they're right. Most of the time, I'm like, damn, girl, you got it.
Which I mean, maybe that's it. I don't. I'd have to hear more from Janine, and
Yeah.
that's just my, that easily could be it too, because we do hear it in that confessional. So
Yeah, and that's
there-
my game. That's probably my influence of my game style. So I understand. I'm not in the game, but it's just
exactly.
my perception.
As a Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I can talk about it with that no risk, right?
Oh,
Um,
exactly. Um,
um, so Aston sees Mars as his number one, but also perceives him to be playing the middle. Do you think it's good for Mars to be playing the middle?
I mean, yeah, I think like for now, but it's gonna bite him. I think sooner rather than later. Like
Mm,
he needs to pick a side because I think the Melbourne boys are saying, "R, nar, nar,
mm,
nar, you're with Red. I don't like
yeah.
that. No."
Mm. I wonder if it will, like, say, if this voting block goes back and votes again with this new outsiders alliance type of thing. Obviously, it's going to be way more complex than that. I do see that Mars having those relationships puts him safer than it does Brie, because I feel like Brie, from what I've seen in the edit, doesn't have as many connections. Like, if people are saying those three are a block, one of them just left the game, Mars has some connection. I worry for Brie in this position, but I also have faith that that group is going to be able to turn stuff around.
Yeah, I really think it depends on who's gonna be flexible or not, and who's
Yeah.
willing to like bend and not break.
Mm-hmm.
That's I think it'll be key. So I see I know Bree can go in and like have a conversation and like really like work
Yeah.
people.
And you
Um
see it in the episode.
absolutely. So like I think I foresee her doing what she has to do moving
Yeah.
forward.
Shame.
And I don't know if Mars is gonna be that willing. I feel like once he gets an idea, he's gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
So I am a little nervous for him moving forward that way.
And Brie has already made it known to many people that she wants a flexible game. So I think if she was saying red strong, and then you get to the vote, you're like, well, she can go. But she's actually been very vocal about, I want this to be used, like, I want this to be a really fluid game. So I think that's good for her, because she's already got that vibe out there. I don't know. So I'm like worried for her logically, but not worried for her at the same time, because I'm like, I think she can make things happen next vote.
Well, and Bree's game is interesting too because she kind of has a few different options she can go with as well right now in this current vote. Granted, they're
Mm,
all kind of on the same side, but like she's fighting between do I want to
yeah.
go with my core four I've been working with Mars, Jordan, Aston,
Yeah.
instead of going with this group that she kind of was trying to go with Janine and Maddie and
Yeah.
Mushy, I guess, to a sense in that vote. But she's also saying she wants to see a challenge threat stay in because Will would be on her side if they keep him, and he
Mm,
would be a shield. And he's not going to win 10 immunity challenges in a row. We
yeah.
can get
For
him out at
sure.
any point. So I thought that was a really interesting confessional, kind of like clocking how her brain goes through, and like which is the right way to go. So
Yeah.
very interesting insight that way.
We see a conversation with Derek and Mars, where and Jordan, where Derek kind of says, "Oh, I've heard my name, but I've also heard yours," to Mars, insinuating it's coming from Maddie. Just wanted to say, I thought this was a great move that he got to say it before Jordan did, because it was like, here's some information you don't know, Mars, to really make sure that Derek wasn't going to be the target of any kind of stray votes that was coming through. And then Jordan validates it straight after, confirming to Mars from a source he trusts what Derek is saying is correct. So I was like, wow, what a, it's these subtle strategic plays that I really enjoy watching, to be like, wow, implicitly, Derek's probably pulled a lot of trust there, or at least some rapport with Mars. And then you've got Mars straight on the Maddie train once again. Like, it's locked in for Mars. He then is like, does the whole God of War thing and, plays it up in the confessionals, but he's like, I'm coming for Maddie. And I'm like, tick, tick, tick to Derek, because really he was the one that really, threw the coal in the steam train. It's off. So I just wanted to bring that up.
I love a subtle move, like even just like catching that and being like, oh yes, like it's so good on Derek's part, and he's not subtle. I know he did that on purpose. Like I know what he's doing. I'm gonna clock this T some more. Like he's very intentional with what he gives and what he holds on to. So he said, I'll give you a little piece for free. Next time it's gonna be a little bit more. Like you're gonna have to vote with me,
Yeah. And then And then I think another thing which Maddie did really well is that she starts pushing this girls' alliance. With the paranoia, I get it, but like it's good. She's obviously she gains traction, because what I see here is the blue petition go, ding, ding, ding. This is our in. Like, you see Anthea's eyes light up. It's like, this is what we can use. We can subtly pull in Will and Derek here, and I think Derek's even in that conversation, to be like, they're going to utilize Maddie's idea and paranoia of the girls' alliance. I don't even know if Bray was there. Bray, you can let us know if you were there. But I feel like she pulls everybody else of the girls into that alliance, plus then some of the Blues jump on board to get what they want out of this vote.
It was an all girls plus Derek alliance. Like Derek somehow got added in. That's what he's like, I'm a girly, so I'm here. Apparently, that's what he was saying the other night, that he somehow also was looped into that. So he must have been the +1 blue that got there.
Yeah,
Bree
wasn't there, which is I think smart of them to not let Bree in, because obviously they don't, like, Bree would not have stood for that, and she can work at Magic. So I feel like it was a perfect time for the blue petition to like jump on Maddie's plan and feed that fire so they could get what they wanted through, and it works.
Well, and I think at this point, it's funny that Maddie's realizing she's done too much. She's like, oh, I've cooked it. Like, I think this is the point where, like, when she's building this group, she's like, I need to bring it back. And, like, how can I overcorrect now?
And when Anthea goes, no, girl, keep it going. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
It's the subtlety here of obviously the fight. Like, we only hear Jordan's name come up once, but like Anthea seems to, like, it seems like it's been painted like Anthea's one to be shifting it to be like, well, why not Jordan? And utilizing that. Yeah, exactly. And we saw that the looping in, because why wouldn't you? That's how Blue gets what they want.
Exactly.
It's a smart play.
Well, and I think like Anthea being like doing the mapping, like Anthea's always thinking, like, that's what I love about her. She's trying to get an alliance mapping in her head, like they're here, they're working with this, and this. And she's like, why isn't Jordan's name being pitched on anyone there? Like, why aren't we looking at Jordan? And as Derek says, Anthea pitches it, and everyone says, yeah, you're right. Why not? Why not have a little fun and do that? Like, let's take out a number that they're not expecting. It's someone they're not willing to lose, because obviously they're willing to lose Maddie if the name's being pitched around.
Yeah.
How does that help us? It doesn't help us.
It's the same strategy that got Delhi kicked out earlier. It was they've shown their cards of who's more important in their alliance, so why not target that person instead? And I wonder if Jordan's reflections on the fact that he was lower to those people and didn't make extra connections made it a very easy person to land on, because it wasn't going to upset. People.
Absolutely. And I I think everyone seems to be on board with it. Mushy's like, yeah, get rid of red. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Bye,
yeah.
red. Like, I'm
Just links
here.
back to Mushy being like, screw red once again.
She said, I've been saying it and I'll keep saying it.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
She's like, I'm
She's like, to
happy.
close this chapter, a red person, please.
Exactly.
And we're
She's like,
like, all right, Mushy.
she says, if you're asking for it, Mushy, we can give you red.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
I do think it's interesting we get a confessional from Will, who's very much so on this blue side, but like trying to make the connections with red, saying, I don't want it to be Jordan. I want it to be
Yeah,
Maddie because if I pick Maddie, I get Mars to be on side C, say, yes, I got
yeah.
you, while
Mm,
also, showing that I'm voting for red within the other people.
mm,
So there's a chance that it might become a plurality vote, he says in confessional, which
yeah,
like, I love a plurality vote. How
yeah.
cute.
Yeah, and to Dan's I love that. To Dan's comment, yeah, it keeps the Reds divided, right? Fuels that fire. Which is amazing strategy. You know, if the more they're divided, the more blue can get a hold if they're still playing tribe strong. There's the still subtle undertones that we're seeing that whether it shifts up soon or not.
Exactly, which
Um,
we still have time to see. It could.
yeah, that kind of is the scramble for me.
Yeah, I've got like just two more points before we get
Yeah, go for
into
it.
it. Everyone seemingly knows about this idol at tribal council. It just feels like five or six people know, and like at this point, everyone knows, right? I don't know. That's what I have. And Derek knows about it, so he goes, maybe if I'm in trouble, I'll run up and grab it. Who's to say? But he's like, but
Mm.
maybe I don't need it. It seems like the numbers are there for what he wants to happen, so maybe I won't. So that's kind of an interesting, like, kind of
I
keeping
still
it.
think to the point that Jordan then made clear, and again, if in the comments if we're wrong, but it seems like the key people that needed to know, being Bree and Mars, didn't know that this idol was going to be. And that was the linchpin. Because if Jordan had shared, hey, Nat had something, or talked to Aston about it, and Aston tells Janine and Maddie, but we don't see him tell his Tide Alliance, which maybe it happened off camera and I didn't see it. But I was like, do these people know that what is in that note, or was he really just doing that to try and solidify his Janine and Maddie trust? Because I think this is where the alliance kind of falls down a little bit. Not falls down, but the opportunity to really recognize how pivotal that idol is going to be for this vote.
Yeah, and like we leave to tribal, like we don't know where Janine's head's at truly between red and blue, where
Mm,
she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna vote with them for Jordan or if I'm gonna go with red and vote their way of how they
yeah,
want. I'm still decided. I'm gonna go to tribal and find out. And I think that's so interesting just for us to being like, okay, they think they have the numbers, but do they? Do
yeah.
they?
Ooh,
Ooh, spicy. So I think we hit most everything through that as we get to tribal. It's
yeah,
gonna be an interesting one. So let's
yeah,
maybe just jump right in or
yeah.
walk
Let's
right
do
into
it.
it as we will.
Run if you're
Like
Natalie.
run if you're Natalie.
She's like,
Exactly.
she bolts to that idol. And I was like, you know what, girl? Good for you. It's not the play I would have made. I can see the others, like, you know, like they're strategizing how to subtly get there, like when I'll go out when I need to use it. And that's like, screw that. I mean, I know where it is. People knew that I got the note.
Part of me is like, did she just like walk and forget the staging to where to walk to tribal? I'm like, oh no, she's
No,
doing it.
she's
She's
off.
doing the damn thing. I was
And
like,
she just
yes.
plucks it straight away. I was like, okay, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was bold, but I don't know. I just
It
Nat
feels
Nat really as a strategist, Nat confuses me, but I love watching her because it challenges what I would do. Like I'd be like 100 thoughts of how I'm going to get up there, but yeah, you know, maybe the right play is just to walk up and pluck it straight out.
I mean, Nat shows in this episode twice. She's happy just to pull something in front of everyone. Like croissants mine, idols
Yeah,
mine. Like
yeah,
you guys can know I have it, but what are you gonna do about it?
yeah.
Try me.
Yeah, and like Jordan says, you know, he was proud, and you can see. I think you hear him actually being like, "Oh, good for you," you
I
know.
mean, good Anya is truly like, damn, like if you have the nerve just to do it, please do it.
Yeah,
Keep doing it. Actually, like I love it. So Nat
I
gets like a
think.
good star for me on that one.
Yeah, and I actually think in a almost like a metagaming type way or a strategy type of way, the note is as dangerous as the idol to people. People perceive it to be an advantage, and the unknown can be scarier than what the known is, right? So, despite obviously Derek and some people knowing that it was a clue to the idol, people could have thought she had a blocker vote. Yeah,
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, so there's a plan in place. Cool. But
Just
but
not
you know, like for Nat to at least get it shows people that hey, that was a clue. I now have the idol. There's nothing else. Like
mhm,
people have a known advantage that they're then working with, and she becomes maybe a little less threatening than if there was a oh we know she has something but we don't know what it is.
mhm.
Maybe she has an idol, maybe she doesn't. Maybe it's a steel vote or a whatever
Right.
whatever the production has created for the game.
Well,
So I don't know.
and Aston can back it up being like, "Yeah, I have the same note, it's the same thing, like, so
Yeah,
surely it's not anything else." So, like, that at
yeah.
least helps, Nat in
It's
that way.
probably best for him to do that too. Be like, oopsie, I have the clue. See, I have nothing. I'm not a threat. Or he could use it to say, no, what are you talking about? This is a clue to another advantage and try and build up the threat through that. So it'll be interesting to see what Aston does.
Kind of do like the Survivor 50 where, Devins and spoilers, Christian, like, make their own little advantage over,
Yeah,
like, using the
nice.
wrapping, like, use what you have.
Yeah,
Yes, you sure did, Derek. Yes, you did. You did read that.
nice. Yeah,
So
gotta take what you can, right?
exactly. If it's there, it's there. I don't blame ya. But yeah, no, so like she walks up and then we just get right into tribal where Dan and Liv aren't holding back on their questions. They're like,
Right.
okay, Anthea, who's a threat?
He's a threat. Yeah.
Who's a threat? And Anthea says, no, everyone's a threat.
Yeah,
Everyone has their
this
own
cast
ways.
is so good at doing the non-answer answers. It's so funny to watch them all because you're like, give us something juicy, but you know your best option is to be like, oh, everybody has a characteristic as a threat, yada yada yada. And even Aston did really well with that, being like, oh, you look for people with win equity because it's like you don't want to point out who's a challenge base, who's a social threat. So I really feel like this cast is on when they're at tribal.
Oh, absolutely. And they know what to say to like not make themselves be perceived even more as a threat. Like
Yeah.
Aston saying some have more options than others, but I would say who? Yes,
Dan wants something
girl.
juicy.
Yes, I also want the drama. I
Well,
love.
can I say someone did give you something in that tribal, and it was Mars, because Mars was using his answer to set up Maddie for a fall. He was making it very publicly known when he was talking about trust, which is, I guess, that next theming to be like, oh, it's really, you want to solidify trust, and trust really comes with people that you can rely on and not people who are running around the whole camp, Maddie.
Who could
So
that
I think
be?
he was very clearly signaling, hey, everybody who I've talked to, I am still on this plan. But you also see Maddie's face completely clock in. She knows it's talking about her, and that's spiking her paranoia at the tribal council. To
I
then
mean,
her later retort, I feel.
fair enough, because like I would be like, oh, that's definitely about me. Crap, is it me? Am I going home? Is this my
She
time?
knows.
Like,
Well, she doesn't know, but her paranoia is Maddie's level paranoia, and that's saying
oh,
100% it's me,
100%.
which in this instance she's right. But
Yeah,
she then retorts Mars being like, yeah, I also have trust, but it's in the people I've spoken to and trusted. I am going to go ahead with my plan. So it was a little, I love the little chess moves between those two at the tribal, despite all the facade of the non answers.
exactly. And then like Nat has a good one where she's saying, you have to pick someone to trust, and like I hope
Mm,
I pick the right person, which
yeah.
I just love that line, being like,
Yeah.
hope I'm good. It's so
Yeah.
cute.
Everyone has a plan. It's whether your plan comes to fruition. And that's just another way of Maddie saying it. And she's like, all I can say now is, let's see if my plan comes to fruition. I thought it was a real nice sentiment to end on for the kind of spoken part of tribal.
100%. And I think it's really interesting how the votes kind of land. One thing for me going into the vote, I made like a little voting booth. So I was like, all right, Maddie, Jordan, Derek, these are the three people I'm anticipating to get votes.
Yeah.
And I put Derek, no one. He didn't get one. Like after all
No.
of that, like talk of like that, I was like, dang, the edit
Even
got me
Will.
good.
I was
Oh,
like,
Will.
maybe Will's going to get, a couple of votes thrown his way here. We didn't see him in those final conversations. It was really, like you said, Janine deciding where she was putting her vote, Anthea deciding who it's going to land on, he wasn't in the Girls Alliance chat. So I did think, oh, maybe Will's at,
Well, out on the yeah,
in jeopardy, So,
exactly.
which again highlights the great gameplay from Will and Derek, but also the threatening nature that both of them kind of carry. And the
It's
cast, I feel like, is going to start to see it.
they're on the rise, I think, as you will, of being like, yeah, oh, we're watching out for them for sure. Like people have eyes and they're watching,
Yeah,
they're looking, and they're like, when's the right time? So
yeah,
if not now, when? Truly. And let's see.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? Getting to watch it as a viewer, even when you're in it.
It's so true because you find all those side conversations. But going down the votes, we get
It's the
Maddie.
Buru Four against everybody,
Yep. So
right?
Aston, Mars, and Bree and Jordan are the Maddie vote, and then
Yeah,
everyone else goes for Jordan. As we're reading the votes, Mars is just goofy and pulls out a croissant because why not? It's
because you got
funny.
to
It's
get the
goofy.
croissant in the episode again.
Exactly. Which croissant company are we working with, Dan? Like, do we have a partnership yet? Like,
Yeah, right. I do wonder whether if they're like in season 5, we're going to have the merge tribe just be a big picture of a croissant. Is their tribe flag? But
I hope so. Like, I can't wait to see. Like, I need more croissants in my Survivor Canberra experience. So I
that's
hope
what
they
the
hit.
idol. The idol is going to be a croissant. You're going to have to dig into the croissant, or it's going to be croissant shape. Make it happen. Edit
Something
it.
truly, be revisionist. A fancy artisan bakery, Coles. I'm familiar with
Lovely.
Coles. I've had a Coles
I've got
croissant.
money to spend.
Surely, they're
Yeah,
good. They're
yeah.
good stuff. Okay, well, Coles get us that sponsorship, so we have um
They'll need it. They don't have enough.
croissants for everyone in season 5. Please, please, please.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, like I think listening to the voting afterward, I think we get like Will's perspective of why he flipped, saying
yeah,
the numbers were there in Jordan and he didn't
yeah.
want to be on the wrong side of history, so that's why he
Mm,
flipped to Jordan.
yeah,
And then like Jordan becoming the first member of the jury, he had some pretty positive words on his exit. Well,
yeah.
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I just love his positivity and gratefulness, and that obviously came through in the interview tonight. But like, it's so nice to see people see it as a game. Like it hurts, when you get voted out, and it can be tricky for people to process. But I think I have a lot of respect for people who can show respect to the process and the game on their exit, because it's yeah, like I said, it's so complex. But for him to immediately see the and reflect on the gratitude of playing and the positivity that he's going to bring to the jury, I think it was a really it's a testament to who Jordan is, I think.
Absolutely, and I think he'll have a lot of fun. He'll have the energy that the jury really needs, and I think the rest of the people in the game. I know there was a comment within the tribal, like, hopefully we don't have a bitter jury. I don't foresee a bitter jury with this group of
Mm,
people. I think Jordan will have a lot of levity of people coming in. He'll be a good sport. He'll let people talk
yeah,
it out, but like also be like a good person to like just have fun
yeah.
with and like
And
get out of the heat.
I love those comments again from the cast. I believe that one was Derek's,
Mhm.
but that's showing that Derek's trying to get permission from the cast to play hard. Like, that's him being like, I hope we don't have a bit of jury, because it's basically saying, hello, everybody, I'm going to be playing. Like, hello, everybody, we should start playing. And so it excites me to hear those statements in LRGs, and even across, other Survivor franchise, because I'm like, oh shit, strap in, everybody. Like, people are here to play because they're trying to get the permission already to play rather than have to apologize for it. So I think it's going to set us up really nicely for an exciting post-merge.
I think so too. And looking at the preview, which we'll play here in just a minute, it's gonna be a chaotic next episode. It's a double.
So exciting.
I'm really excited to see how we go after this merge vote. Like, do you have any predictions on what you think might happen? Like, red, blue? Are we getting a purple? Are we
Like I
getting?
said, I don't know. Like I said, I think Brie is in a tricky position coming back from the vote, so we'll have to see what webs she spins for the rest of the episode. Um, I do think if the title carries with Will that he's a threat, he could be in trouble. Um, I feel like if people can pull the wool over Natalie's eyes and they want to flush an idol, or if that becomes the center of attention, she could be in trouble there. But I don't think many people are looking at her. And then I think if people are viewing what just happened as Anthea's move as the first one to make a big move post merge, I think you also could be in trouble. So they're my 4 floaters in my head from what we've discussed. What about you?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I am super curious with these reds now that they are a 3 or 4, 4 to they were on the minority. They're really down now. So I'm really curious.
Mm,
I'm hopeful that you said Bree, but I'm also nervous for Aston as well. But he has those advantages in his pockets. A
mm,
little nervous for the likes of Derek and Will, who are getting those
yeah,
eyes shined on them more this
yeah.
episode. So maybe it wasn't the right round last round, but maybe this round. So I am a
It's
little
just
nervous
Queen
for them.
Janine in a great spot and Mushy.
And honestly, love that for them both.
Yeah, yeah.
Queens.
And cut to next week where someone's interviewing Janine and I'll be devastated. Um,
You'd be like, oh, darn,
no
mark my
prophecies.
words.
One, yeah, no, I think that's it. Yeah,
I think we had a really, really good episode and a
yeah,
good merge episode. A great King for the Juror. Um, when was the legacy extra vote for? I believe you said 9.
yeah. Final 9, so they should be at 10 now, and then we'll see it. Hopefully, we'll see what happens in the next couple episodes.
So maybe
One little detail as well. Sorry, you go.
no, go.
I just wanted to say in the episode, I'd never seen it before. Did you know that they've got their names embroidered on their bags? Did you see
Oh,
that?
oh,
I
really?
saw it when Will was talking to someone that his name is embroidered on the bags. I was like, I love the merch, Canberra. Love this for them. How
They're
cool
so
that,
good.
but it's just the finer details that I just wanted to say I really appreciate. Went on the website the other day for Survivor Canberra, the visuals, the like the stats page. I was like, this is sick. So I just wanted to say, from a package perspective, how exciting it is to be able to see everything from Canberra.
Oh yeah, his Will bag.
Yeah, right.
No one's doing it like that. Like that's so cool to have those really personal details. So like you can have that with you, take it as a memento, and like it's so good. Like
Hmm.
Dan, Liv, and Prod, whoever's there is
Yeah,
really eating it up.
I think it was Coles. It must have been Coles, the
Coles
collaboration.
Coles gave
Yeah.
that sponsorship. I did hear that. Thank you, Coles, for being the official food sponsor of
Yeah.
it. Love a Will bag.
Yeah.
I do too, Max. I do
Link
too.
in bio to get your Will bag,
Get your
everybody.
Will bag. I've heard it's hot on the rise, truly. And the water bottles also have their names,
Yeah,
so
so fun for the
good on
cast, right? Like
them.
it really immerses it. So I just wanted to point that out because it's those little details that sometimes you miss unless you're in a podcast like the Backbenchers.
Exactly. We're here for all the fun extra details. So yeah, I really think we're having a fun season. Season 4 is really truly bringing it every episode. We have plurality potentials. We have ties. We have votes. We have chaos. Like I love a good mix of everything. So I'm happy that we have a good episode coming up to see next week.
Do we have a preview for that
Oh,
actually?
I sure do. Let me
Oh,
grab
wow.
it. We'll preview and I'll sign off here after this. Here is next time on Survivor Canberra.
Next time on Survivor Canberra Mount Majura. After Jordan's blindside, tribal lines are finally blurring, and a cross-tribe super alliance is forming.
I think things are coming together. I'm not sure though. Like, hopefully, I can see like the path forward in my mind. I can see that 6. So, yeah, we need to go for it. We need to take our chance now.
Meanwhile, Maddie and Aston are plotting behind Mars's back.
Mars is the next one to go. He needs to go. I want to make that work, but I don't also want to look like I'm calling the shots.
Liv and Dan announce a spicy double elimination, and the players fight for immunity from the double vote.
A double vote. LOL. That's a good ad.
Let's see if Austin survives next week.
I hope Austin survives too. I truly, truly do. But I think we're set up for a double. That challenge looks like no joke. It looks hard. I would not be able to have that dexterity. So I'm really excited to see who we get in a double next week. So we'll be having 2 interviews here on the Backbenchers. We'll find out whom they are Friday at 8 p.m. AEST, as normally we do on our Survivor page. Follow, like, watch along with us Friday night at 8 p. We'll have a lot of fun. It's a good episode. Yeah, any other thoughts for us, Zach, before we close out?
No, I think we've touched on everything we could have. So I'm hoping that, you guys have been enjoying the content from the Backbenchers, and just a big congratulations to everyone involved in Canberra.
Absolutely. Well, this podcast will be back next week again, probably at 7:30. I won't be here, but you'll be seeing some familiar faces. We have all of our usuals back around. I think Zach might even be making some appearances here and there. So watch out, tune in, follow our socials, give us a like, give us a follow, and we'll have all the following details here. Survivor Canberra is where you'll find all things. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for tuning in, and bye.
Bye.
Next time on Survivor Canberra Mount Majura. After Jordan's blindside, tribal lines are finally blurring, and a cross-tribe super alliance is forming.
I think things are coming together. I'm not sure though. Like, hopefully, I can see like the path forward in my mind. I can see that 6. So, yeah, we need to go for it. We need to take our chance now.
Meanwhile, Maddie and Aston are plotting behind Mars's back.
Mars is the next one to go. He needs to go. I want to make that work, but I don't also want to look like I'm calling the shots.
Liv and Dan announce a spicy double elimination, and the players fight for immunity from the double vote.